Welcome back to another episode of At the Bar. Brad Marshall. Today I'm joined with Donna Albertone, and for our episode today we're actually going to flip the tables, and Donna is going to interview me. I recently had the chance to go down and compete at Wodapalooza, and she thought it'd be a great idea to talk a little bit about my experience there, and so Donna's going to ask some questions of me. So Donna, I'm going to turn it over to you.
You may call this At the Bar, but we're calling this episode Dish with Donna.
Oh, I like that.
Dish with Donna. Everything. Wodapalooza. My gosh. What an experience. I loved watching it from afar, and we'll get into just how we got the video and all of that sort of stuff, but what a big stage. Now tell me, just getting there and seeing just that massive rig, what did that just, did it sink in that you were now going to compete on a big stage?
Yeah, it really did. When we first got there, I've never been there before. I only heard stories from Street, who had the opportunity to go last year. Seen a little bit of it on TV and things like that, but actually getting there and seeing multiple stages, how big it is right there on the intercoastal waters, and just the amount of people, it's incredible. I'd say next to the CrossFit Games, it's probably the biggest CrossFit event there is.
It's a mini games, right?
Yeah.
It's essentially a mini games.
There was a lot of big names there, and what's really cool is how many athletes were there. So they've got the elites there, individual and team, but then they had RX, intermediate, scaled, beginner. They had adaptive athletes, masters athletes. It's just like anybody who enjoys competing and throwing down was there, and it was just really cool to be part of all of that.
I bet. Now, to set the stage, Shoofly had two teams there and had one person who was doing a lifting competition. Maria was doing lifting.
Yep.
And so representing Shoofly, we had a scaled team was Edwin and Graham and Allie and Kelly.
Yep.
And then doing RX team, which was you guys. It was you, Street, Chris Miner, and T,
Yes.
who is from Charlotte and a good friend of Street's. And so you were doing RX, but last year wasn't the Shoofly team in the scaled division?
Yeah, so last year they had a different setup for the way the competition worked, and they had 3-person teams, all of the same sex. So Street went down with a team last year, and they qualified to do the intermediate division. So they had a chance to go down and get an opportunity to compete against all the other 3-person female teams in that division. So that was really our gym's first experience of sending someone down to Wodapalooza and getting that experience.
And qualifying for it was actually done here at the gym, where you had to go through a workout and then send in your times. Tell me about that part.
Yeah, so the way Wodapalooza works is they release this set of workouts that everybody has to do regardless of the division that you want to compete in, and you have to video record yourself doing the workout. You can do it as many times as you'd like. The workouts are pretty challenging, and what happens then is when you submit your scores, it basically ranks you on how you finish compared to everybody else in the world who's trying to go. So from the team side, they rank you, and the top 40 teams get to go for the elite division. The next 100 are RX, next 100 intermediate, and so on and so forth. And then wherever you fall within that qualification, that's where you get to go compete against other teams in your division.
Very cool indeed. Okay, so you arrive in Miami. Welcome to Miami. You arrive there and you're taking it all in, and all of a sudden it's time for that first competition. I can't even imagine that feeling. Describe that.
Yeah, and having done some local competitions, thought was going to be prepared for it, but it is a totally different animal when you're there in the athlete warm-up area, and there is just hundreds of athletes there, and people look very fit. You're unsure of where you stack up against all these other people.
Let's be clear, there were a lot of abs on display there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of abs, a lot of good-looking abs there.
A lot of good-looking abs. It makes you feel a little self-conscious, like I don't know where I'm at in regards to everyone else. And the first workout that we had to do was one of the more challenging workouts. I don't know that a single team from our division finished it. It had some legless rope climbs, some heavy dumbbell work. And so what happens is you're warming up in the athlete area. They call you in. They walk you over, put you in this little tent, give you a little brief and saying, hey, here's the workout, here's the standards, here's what you're going to do. All right, you're going to have a couple minutes. Boom, they run you on stage. They tell you got 90 seconds and then go. So you've done all this warming up, and then it takes about 20 to 30 minutes from the time you finish warming up till you actually take the stage in front of everybody. So by that
Enough time for the nerves to percolate?
Oh, yeah. Percolate. You're starting to actually cool down just a little bit, and now you're like, all right, the first movement we got to do is jump up on a rope and do a legless rope climb. It was a little daunting and a little overwhelming to say the least, but it's really great having a team there. I enjoy the team component more than the individual.
Well, let's get to the important things. You all looked good. You all looked really good. I love the colors you wore. You were all color coordinated. You had bright Miami colors. That was a sponsor that helped you with that?
Yeah, one of the sponsors of the entire competition is a company called Born Primitive, and they do clothing. They're based out of Virginia Beach, and they reached out to all of the elite individuals and RX individuals and teams and said, hey, if you're interested, we'd love to outfit you all, and you've got to take some pictures and post about us. And so we were happy to do that. So the 4 of us all go on. We picked out 3 different bottoms, 3 different tops, some athleisure wear, and then they sent us all that stuff, and we had an opportunity to rock their gear over the weekend.
Well,
which was awesome.
looking good is important. Okay, so today in the workout, I worked out today. See, I have my headband on. Today in the workout, there were rope climbs. And I watched you all on the rope climbs. In my mind, I was flying up that rope with legless rope climbs. I was just like you guys in Wodapalooza. And then it hit me like, okay, I'm just trying to lift my body from the floor on the rope. How do you do legless rope climbs? Not one, but there were a zillion.
Yeah, so for the fellas in our division, there was basically 3 rounds. It was 7, 5, and 3, and then for the women, it was 6, I think it was like 4 and 2, and you could break it up however you wanted. I was very fortunate to have a partner who's very good at rope climbs. I'm a bigger guy, so I know I have a X number of rope climbs. So that first round, I did 3 of them, and he did 4. We did our dumbbell work, and by the time you go back to the rope climbs after doing 70-pound bench press and dumbbell thrusters, your grip and everything else is pretty shot. So getting through that first and second and third round for us was really tough, but it's one of those where it is a lot of pulling. Anytime you jump up on that rope, you really actually want to try and use your hips as much as you can, but I mean, climbing 15 feet is climbing 15 feet, and it was a tough workout. It was very humbling.
So you finish that first workout, and I'm sure you're relieved and you feel good, but then do you come together as a do you do strategy for kind of a debrief of what worked there or what didn't work, and then think of strategy for the next one going in?
Yeah, and it's interesting because the way the weekend is set up, we knew 3 of the 6 workouts before we went down there. The other 3 we found out basically the night before the event actually takes place. And so the second event on day 1 was this rowing workout that we had not done or practiced. And so you quickly debrief that one and just say, hey, I think our strategy went well, but you already have to essentially turn your mindset to the next event because it's so different than what you just did. And then you, as time goes on, you start to see where you stack up against other teams, and you start to either feel a little bit more confident because you're performing as well as you'd like, or you start to be like, oh, we didn't hit the mark as well as we'd like to there. So yeah, it's a very quick turnaround. Kind of have to flush that workout and already get ready for that next one. Yeah,
a lot of mind preparation. In between all there, you have to be a fanboy too, right? Because big names are there.
Yeah.
And your head's kind of on a swivel, I bet, or at least mine would be. Tell me about some of the folks that you saw.
Yeah, it was a really cool experience there. I mean, the who's who of the elites were there. So in the women's division, Tia Claire Toomey was there, Sarah Sigmundsdal was there, Amanda Barnhart, Brooke Wells, Carrie Pierce. And what's really interesting is that they're using the same warm-up area as we are. So you're watching them warm up, and we're warming up, and same thing with the teams and the fellas. So you're constantly walking by
rubbing elbows.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're like, I don't know if I should be on the same platform as you all, but I'll take it. So it was a great opportunity. And then there's a lot of other athletes there who weren't competing and hanging out with their sponsors, Matt Frazier and Kelsey Keel and things like that. So it was cool to just see how they interact with fans and how personable they are. So I really enjoyed that.
How important was it to have the contingent of people who were there in the stands from Shoofly supporting you, and then knowing that all of us back here were able to get a live feed from Gaby, shout out to Gaby, who is just awesome, giving us a live feed and color commentary. But that all of us were back here too. How important was that?
We said multiple times over the weekend of how fortunate we felt to have a team there, because it would be one thing to go down and compete either as an individual or as a group and have your cohort, but to know that you had people in the stands cheering you on, you had people putting it on Instagram Live and seeing comments and people supporting you from afar. I mean, that's really what I think helped motivate us to want to make sure we're doing as well as we could, not just for ourselves, but because we felt like we were representing the gym here and the people in the stands. And so it gives you that extra little push, especially when these workouts are tough, but you know that there's people screaming your name up there and people watching that. You want to make sure that you're doing as well as you can for them. So it meant a lot to us to have that support there.
Now, during the competition days, is it all business? Are we able to have some fun in the evening, or was it just basically, I'm going to eat and I'm going to sleep?
There's a balance of both. So the competition, at least for us, most of our workouts were done by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we still had this evening session where the elites would go and they would work out under the lights. So we got a chance to watch them do some of the same exact workouts we did, and just watch them do it at essentially a different level, which was really cool to see. You get to be a fan and walk through all the different vendor villages. A lot of body work.
Did you
was
get good
done.
swag? Was there good swag?
There was good swag. There was really good swag, yeah.
Because that's important. You got to look good and you got to get swag.
That's exactly it. When you go to these competitions, you want to make sure you get hooked up with as much stuff as you possibly can.
Without question.
So, Fit Aid, getting one of those after every single workout. Whoop was there. They gave us a lot of cool gear. Virus was there. And so there's a lot of cool things that we got to see. And the other thing is, in between workouts, we were getting a lot of work done by Omology. So they were super helpful with us, working out any muscles that were sore and getting us ready to go for that next workout. Because it's kind of like, go as hard as you possibly can for 10 to 15, 20 minutes, try and recover and do it again. And then, at night, we had a big Airbnb that we just went home and crashed and woke up and did it all again the next day. So, yeah.
So I want to talk about, there was the first day and then there was some the second day and you talked about the rowing, but I really want to get to the one that was on Sunday. That was the one that had the swimming with it.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Swimming, right out there. This guy right here, Mr. Brad Marshall, he was first out of the water. First out of the water for this part of this. You were first out of the water. And then Street comes in, I think, as the third woman out of the water. Who knew Shoofly could shred the water?
It surprised all of us. So we had been trying to swim on Sundays. Actually, the last 2 years, we've done some sprint triathlons that got us accustomed to swimming in open water. But Street and T did a really great job in that workout of pushing the pace early. So I think we were maybe like the 4th or 5th team in the water out of 15 on the deck at the time. And it was a 300-meter swim, a lot less than what we had done for sprint triathlons. And so I just tried to keep freestyling the whole time. And I got to, there's like essentially like this, it's like a dock that you have to do a muscle up, get up and climb up. And when I climbed up, I was like, I just hope I gave myself a good chance to get ready, change my gear, and get ready to finish out the second half of the workout. When I got to the top, there was nobody else there. And it surprised me more than anything because as we were waiting, we talked about how they brief you in the workout. There's a whole bunch of people there with swim caps from teams they were on and professional swim gear. And I was like, there's some swimmers in this group. I think that
you were the swimmer in the group.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to be, and it was a nice little surprise to get out of the water and realize that some of that swimming that we'd been doing for all these weeks in the pool here paid off.
Absolutely.
Cool.
But I got to ask you, when you got out and then you were running back to your area, and I think you guys were in lane 1, so you had a long way to go with that. Was it slippery or was it what was it? Because you were a little prancy coming out.
Yeah.
You were a little prancy coming out, and I
So
thought,
the
are you cold? Are you slippery? What is it?
Yeah, it was. It was a
you
little
know
bit of
I'm
a slipperiness.
teasing you.
I know. But that, I will tell you, water on those rubber mats, it doesn't mix very well. And it had rained multiple times throughout the weekend, and they were out there trying to squeegee things off and make it safe. But coming out of the water, running, I was like, oh, don't fall. That would be the worst thing you could do right now.
No, it was perfect. It was wonderful. And so you get through this competition. You're on your last one, and it was so great to see when you finished the last one and you just all 4 came together and you just know that you left it all there.
Yeah.
That you left it all there. I can't imagine that feeling. How was that?
It was really cool to see us bounce back the way we did, because we felt like we had a good day 1. Day 2, we were a little bit, we felt like we didn't do as well as we could have, and we dropped in the standings. Then to come out in day 3 with 2 challenging workouts and feel like we did as well as we could have, I think it was just kind of like the emotions of the whole weekend took over at that point in time, and we were just, it was such a great team, and everyone was so supportive of each other, and we spent the whole weekend together from living together and working out together and pushing each other. That I think it was just all the build up, the preparation, getting down there, and 6 workouts later, it was like that was it. And so we were really happy that we got to share that.
And
with
did
each
you
other.
party like it was 1999 afterwards, or were
we-
you too tired?
We tried, but we
Or
were
what
really
happens
tired.
in Miami stays in Miami?
A little bit of both.
Okay,
A little
all
bit
right.
of both. We watched the Elite Throwdown, and they had a phenomenal finish, and so by that time we're all pretty exhausted. But we did get a chance to enjoy some good Miami cocktails and some food down there, so that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should say that then the other team, the scale team, did terrific as well.
Yeah.
I had a wonderful time watching them and just in awe. And the elite team, you guys placed 30th?
We placed 33rd
Oh, 30th?
out of
I'm sorry.
100 teams.
33rd, so in the top third. Holy cow.
Yeah.
On that big stage, that's really incredible.
Yeah.
And then the scale team was
34th out of 100 teams in their division.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
so
that's
really good.
amazing. And Maria with the lifting, I think, ended up with a PR.
Yeah. she
I
did
mean,
really
that's a
well.
win all the way around
It
for all
was.
three.
Oh yeah, to send that many folks from a little town in North Carolina and show up was pretty cool.
So before I get to asking you best moment, lowest moment, that sort of, just very quickly, I was reflecting on, here I am at a gym sending athletes to these events, and I come into here every day and do the workouts among you, and I thought, wow. And what I appreciate is there's no pretense. I am. No one is in the air of I'm on this team or that team and we do this. It's just an equilibrium that I so appreciate, and I think that's why everybody feels so proud when our teams do go and do so well, because we're all here together doing the same thing. So I want to tell you I appreciate that as being a member here at Shoofly, that there's no pretense, nothing about that. We're just all supporting each other, and that's what I look for in the gym that I work out at. Highest moment.
I think the highest moment as a team was the first workout on Sunday, and I say that because Saturday night they released the workout. It's movements our team actually really likes. And we're like, hey, this is a great opportunity for us to bounce back. We created a plan, but what ended up happening was on Sunday morning they changed the workout for our division. So at Elite they said, hey, you're gonna work out with this weighted med balls, you're gonna use this weight on your dumbbells, and this is how high your boxes are. Well, then when we get there on Sunday, they changed it on us, and they said, hey, you're gonna do the same workout as the Elite. So wall balls are heavier, dumbbells are higher.
Was that
heavier.
a logistics problem that they had to keep the equipment out?
Honestly, we don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. And so when we were going into that workout, then we're like, well, that totally changes things. We changed up our strategy, changed up our plan. We get into that workout, and we moved a lot better than maybe we anticipated ourselves, and we actually finished the workout. And these workouts are tough that we only were able to finish two of the 6 workouts where you actually like get to hit the buzzer and finish the workout. And we hit a buzzer a lot faster than we thought. So that moment of being able to perform better than what we anticipated was incredible. So hitting that buzzer on the first workout Sunday was just, it fired us up so much.
Yeah. I'm not even going to ask lowest moment because that's just too negative. We don't need to go there. For you personally, Brad, and we'll end on this note, what are you personally most proud of?
I think personally just the development over, I guess, probably 3.5 years. Like,
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because I was thinking, I remember when you joined.
Yeah.
I remember when you came.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, you were standing just like right over there, and I remember where your first classes, and I was thinking, look at him on the stage in Miami.
Yeah.
I hope that is your proudest moment because
Yeah.
that is very cool.
yeah, I texted that to.
Don't you enjoy that I
Street
tell
after.
you your proudest moment?
That's why you're such a great interviewer. You know what I'm going to say before I even say it.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
but I actually texted Street that to think about walking into a gym, 3.5 years ago, former athlete, not really in shape, just kind of like trying to get back into shape, and then realizing like there was this outlet and something I enjoyed doing, and just kind of keep getting better and better along the way. And it's fun to see where I'm at, but also realize there's so much more to go, that it's motivating. And so for me, I think that's one of the most proud moments is to see the development, but then realize like it's not stopping yet, and it's just gonna hopefully keep trending upward. So that's what I'm really looking forward to moving forward.
Well, I know you've got other competitions coming up, and just looking forward to seeing you guys rock it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Donna.